Hey everybody, thank you all for coming to the April meeting. I want to thank those of you who showed up, and for those who may be watching at home, thank you. We're going to keep it short because we have we have people here, but we don't want to keep anyone here longer than necessary. My apologies for the late start. I had an emergency to take care of. Let's pull it from the top, and then if everybody has, does anyone need a copy of the agenda? Everybody has? And
No,
Louisa,
I wrote down part of it.
that is good. Thank you. If anyone needs a copy, we can email it to you.
Oh, okay. So,
Just let me know. So I wanted to start, as everyone probably has seen already, there has been the slow zone has went up on the avenue. They announced it the morning after our last meeting when everyone was complaining about speeding on the avenue. So that is one way it's going to be addressed. Thank you. As everyone knows, 2 speed cameras have went up. The slow zone, just for those who don't understand, who might not know, because I guess nobody would really understand, there's a press release that was issued. It's basically going to turn every street onto City Island right now. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour. City Island is one of the 5 pilot projects throughout the city. It'll be changed on City Island to 20 miles an hour.
I thought it was 25.
It's 25 on the avenue, but everywhere where it's not posted, it's de facto 30.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it's going to be changed to 20 miles an hour. The DOT came to this determination. It was empowered by a state law called Sammy's Law. Basically, there were 5 accidents on the island that I don't remember if 5 accidents that resulted in some level of an injury in the last 5 years. So that was enough to push the DOT to issue City Island as the only Bronx slow zone. So signs should be going up. We have conveyed to DOT that without enforcement, it's just going to be a sign that goes up. They seem to know that. I would anticipate that the minute they change all the signs before we hit the summer season, it is going to be reflective of that it is, they will be out there enforcing it. Some of you also voiced concerns that you wanted a red light camera. We had put in for the red light camera. We followed up on it. They're still examining to put a red light camera up here. Again, that was another thing that had to be done through a changing of state law. The speed cameras, the red light cameras, the changing of the street, that's all, even though they're city streets, it's all dictated by the state. But they are examining whether a red light camera is needed here. And we did follow up also on, I'm sorry.
Did you petition to put it in some particular place?
Not really. I left it open to them. I figured there are 5 stoplights on the island. And I agree with you, but I figured whatever one they viewed it as would be better than not having one. I would guess, and this is a guess, and thankfully it'll be recorded that I said it was a guess. I would assume they'd probably put it somewhere by the school, because they always put the school at high priority, but who knows. But they are looking into the red light camera. The noise camera, I got back something today. I don't think the noise camera, they just issued an announcement a year ago, but I don't think that program is running as well as was advertised. So they will be getting back to me, and we will see what happens there, but I would not put as high a hope on that.
They would just end up finding the police shooting gallery.
There we go.
So.
Does the city do anything to monitor noise on the water? Or do they just wait for complaints and then follow up on them?
Pretty much, yes.
Days after the noise is done?
Yes. So there was I think the councilwoman had a meeting with respect to Harbor Patrol. I know that other things are being planned for Harbor Patrol. You talking about the party boats when you mentioned that, or are we talking about something else?
Yeah.
Party boats, you as well?
Yeah.
Noise
No,
on
I was
the
talking
water.
about the shooting
The
gallery.
shooting range, okay.
No, most of the noise I've heard comes
Yeah.
from the water.
Yeah, I think they are usually 311 generated, but what we can do is we do have some contacts over at Harbor Patrol, so we can get that information out to everybody who's a member and just make sure they have that information of Harbor Patrol, who to call as they go forward. The Harbor Patrol does send someone to the precinct council meetings, and they have been at the last 2 of the last 4 meetings. saying that they're going to be taking those types of complaints very seriously. Apparently, the head of Harbor Patrol lives in the Bronx, the entire city, so this has become like an issue of personal pride for him. So we'll see how well they do, but I know there are plans to do more this year, and I will try to get an update and I'll follow up on that. We are also going to be doing a cleanup day with Senator Fernandez's office. The flyer has not yet went up. I wanted to announce it here first, but they sent something over. So it's going to be, let me see if I have it here. Yes, this is a draft, but it's going to be Bridge Park cleanup based on the last meeting. May 17th, the week after Mother's Day, because we had it all ready to go. It was going to be Mother's Day, and we realized what a disaster that would be, and we probably wouldn't get any volunteers. So we are going to do a cleanup on that day. So that's May 17th from 11 to 2 p.m. So that's something else we're working on. Know Your Rights. Some people have voiced their concerns with Know Your Rights at our last meeting, particularly, given all that's going on in the world. We are probably going to have someone at the next meeting who can instruct you on all those different things. If someone just shows up at your door without a warrant, what are your requirements? If someone just asks something of you on the street, what are your requirements? So we're going to make sure we have that information and have someone here to answer questions, who's an attorney who can ably do that. Beyond those things, does anyone have any concerns, questions that might not have been addressed or you might not see up here? I know we're working on the street cleanups. I did send your requests in. As of early this morning, they had not yet responded, but since we have we'll check right now, see if anything came in while we've been on been up here. Let's see here. Please be sure this let me follow up on this, but they seem to be willing to do the sweep, so I will follow up on that. That is probably I know that's definitely one of the things we're working on. We're also trying to go through some of the parks complaints that people have presented. I did get by, I saw the bike path has been eroded over time. I think that's what it was. So we are going to go out there and do that. As everyone probably has seen since they've traveled at night, none of the lights on Orchard Beach Road are working. And for a while, the traffic light also was cut out. So we put in a complaint on both the traffic light, which required a separate complaint, which they actually refer you to 911 to do, which kind of makes sense. And the street lights, the traffic light was out from Monday to Thursday. They fixed it either Friday or Saturday. So the traffic light's working, but all the other lights are still out on Orchard Beach Road. But they are aware. We have brought them that request. So that is something they are still working on. Obviously, it's like whack-a-mole with these lights. They need to update the electrical grid. But that is where we stand with that. We're also going to put in for the bike path to be redone. There were 4 light poles that have been cut down, for lack of a better term. That means a car hit them. So we are going to have to, we'll bring that to their attention as well. But yeah, I mean, it's not really safe in there. 2 of those 4 light poles that have been knocked down are in the traffic circle. So that is something to be concerned for. And that's kind of where we are with that.
The pothole situation?
Pothole situation is still very bad.
Yeah,
I'm actually...
I feel like they made it worse.
Yes, so they...
left an absurd amount of gravel all over. So entering the circle from this side is just a field of gravel. Like, is there any accountability for these projects and making sure that they're done in the correct manner? Because it just seemed like that one was really bad. Like, they just kind of threw some gravel down and then ran away.
Yeah, I mean, it is bad.
Even on Orchard Beach Road.
Even on Orchard Beach. It's particularly bad on Orchard Beach Road, which is where they did most of the work. And they did the work actually on Park Drive right before that light. It is bad. We can bring it to their attention. The thing is, the resurfacing of the entire street is the most expensive thing. So as a result of that, they're not inclined to always do that. As a result, they tend to patch these things over. If you get on a lot of roadways throughout the city, that's why they look the way they do. We can definitely put in a letter and a request just saying that like patching over the potholes doesn't work. One thing I am trying to
I don't
do.
know if it does work or doesn't work. I just know that it's being done poorly.
Yeah.
If it was done better, then maybe it would have worked better. But they're just
Yeah.
doing kind of like a like not good quality.
No.
You could ask them if they would maybe supply some bags of coal patch. I could patch it.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't let me.
Yeah, that for liability reasons, they probably wouldn't. But look, we can definitely let them know that it's not being done well and everything like that. One idea I did have, and I'm reaching out to somebody who lives not on City Island but nearby, but it's like they do a lot with GPS coordinates, is if we could go out there and show exactly what lights are off and where the road depressions are worse. There is a person who follows online, doesn't normally come to the meetings, but does follow online, who wrote this really wonderful, long, very descriptive rather, letter about how bad the roadways were. And I sent it to everyone at DOT and the mayor's office. And they were like, well, just call 311. And I was like, we can't call 311 because there are no street addresses. So that's not really helpful. So my thought is the GPS might allow for this to be taken more seriously. But I'm open to other suggestions. I mean, we've written before, the roadways are still bad. They really do require total resurfacings.
Why don't we call the Bronx borough president,
We could do that.
reach out to her.
Okay.
And let her bite the bullet and see what she could do.
Yeah.
I know that when you had, when you wanted support for the library,
Yeah.
there was like a form you filled out, and it was like, hey, here's the form that we want to get sent online, fill out, your name, all this stuff, and I'll send a generated message to.
We could do that.
I'm just the more they may not, if they're getting one really good detailed report or one complaint, they may not care. But if they get 12, 20 complaints, right, then they'll probably care more.
Yeah. I love the idea.
Yeah.
And I do think a web form is probably the way to go on this, because calling 311 as we went through, you don't have the coordinates, it doesn't get you very far.
Yeah.
So we'll make it a priority and we'll get something out and let's all try to work together. I still would like to do the GPS thing, but that can be a different angle we take on this. Is there anything beyond and it's funny, I actually went out today within the park and took some photos of also the quick curbs, the medians that they have out there. One, the median to get into City Island Road to come into the neighborhood, as well as the median over by Shore Road Bridge or Pelham Bay Bridge. That is, they've both been kind of hit, for lack of a better term, so I'm going to try to get those fixed as well. But I was out there, I got photos of all the different light poles that have been knocked down. So we'll have a lot to put in this, in either the web form or the letter. It will be very descriptive with lots of photos. Let me leave it at that. You have your hands raised, sir?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Does anyone have anything besides the damn roads that need to be fixed? Fix the damn road. I mean, people have made that a very successful communication mechanism before. So, okay. Beyond that, we still have the ferry signs. If you don't have one, please see us. We've been getting, we just got our video equipment, so we're going to be able to take some very nice videos of people. But we welcome if people want to self-submit. There might be some TikTokers watching. If they want to submit their videos that are pro-ferry, we're going to start doing a campaign on that. But we just got our video equipment. I was actually going to bring it tonight to film the meeting, but I was not as confident that I would capture everything. And to stream is a much more convoluted process, so I didn't want to chance it. So we'll try that at the next meeting. But we had 2 meetings with key stakeholders. Kim and I met with the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, got their input. They provided some valuable feedback. We'll kind of go into that a little later on, but they provided some valuable feedback of ways that they would approach this problem. So we kind of collaborated with them. At the same time, we also hosted Councilmember Amanda Farias here. Her committee, the Committee of Economic Development, is the committee that oversees the ferry. So we had a meeting with her, us, and about 10 different businesses and residents to kind of talk through everything. She gave kind of her ideas for how to approach this. There's going to be a real push at the council in the next few years. A lot of the freight that moves through the city, they don't want it all to come in through rail. They don't want it all to come in through trucks, rather, not cars. They want it to come in through different ways. So there's going to be like a blue highway initiative in which to bring a lot of the stuff in by boat. And that may make our proposals seem a lot more attractive because they're trying to better utilize a lot of the roadways. And perhaps this would provide another avenue to bring people into the city. So we are following all that. We're trying to make that work. Park conditions, I had here under old business, but we've already went through that kind of ad nauseum. The issues from the last meeting, I went over to Fordham Street. I took photos of some of the poles that have been off center. We have complained about this in the past. I complained about one. There's really two. I went over. I got photos of them. We'll submit those to Con Edison again. Interestingly enough, on the pole we complained about, it seems like they took the utility lines off that pole, but still left up the pole hanging off kilter. So I don't know what the logic was there, but it was addressed, just not addressed to everyone's satisfaction or
So
completion.
Sean, just a follow-up question
Mhm.
related to that. Like when you make a 311,
Yeah.
you have to have an address, right?
Yes.
Because I know, like,
It-
driving toward the Hutch North, there's like a tree that looks like it's just gonna go down, but like, I've noticed it a couple of times and it seems like it's getting like further and further over the roadway to the point where it's gonna probably fall over at some point. But if we can't report any, like, are there any efforts to make it so that you can report 311 by coordinates instead of by address?
They'll do it by intersection. The problem with intersection is that, again, the area
There's
you
no
described is
intersection there.
not on an intersection. So you can do it by intersection as well. It took me, and I actually have photos of it, took me over 30 minutes to put in the two 311 complaints, the other by web form. And I finally did get it through, but it was not any, it was, and I'm somebody who is mildly tech savvy and understands city government. So I can only imagine what it is for like the average person who might not be knowledgeable about any of these things. And I think it's done that way so people get frustrated and they don't pursue it.
Well, I think it's also just a side effect of the fact that we have a city that's set up as a grid,
Yeah,
but we don't live in the part of it that is like,
That's
that's
true.
not the grid. So there's like some anomalies in the system that don't kind of fit the
Mhm.
norm.
absolutely. That is very true.
Columbia Park is the biggest park in
That is
the
true.
Bronx. So there's a lot of space in there
Mhm.
and it's not that easy to identify one spot.
If you can get me a photo of the tree, I can take it to Bronx Forestry.
I would like to, but it's like, it's literally, there's like nowhere to pull over there.
All right, maybe we
Like,
can
go
find time to go together, and that way one of us can operate the camera,
Yeah,
the other
yeah,
of us
yeah.
can be there.
It's like a two-person
Yes.
job.
That's right. No, I'm always down for a field trip. We'll make it happen. So we will try to get that. But again, these things have been going on for you, but we are trying to at least make some progress on these things. I do think getting the GPS coordinates is like right now it seems like they're being dismissed because there's a lack of evidence. If we can do something that really shows that we have a ton of evidence, it's not as easy to dismiss. And so that's kind of my kind of next steps here. Obviously we speak to the mayor's office. We had a mayor's office representative, I think, a few months ago, or last year rather, as our guest. So I will be reaching out to her. She's been in the park with me before. She's seen some of these things. Hopefully, we've made some minor progress on things in the park. I don't want to say major, but we have tried to bring us to, I've been in the park with the DOT commissioner, the previous and current DOT commissioner, with DEP, with Parks Department. So, and as a matter of fact, the Parks Department person, when they patched over, when they did a minor resurfacing right by Turtle Cove, saw me at a unrelated function. I was like, did you see we got that done? So I will follow up with them and make sure they are aware. But I do agree with you that it is worse, and we will, either through web forms or all these other things, we'll try to get them addressed. And then the last thing was that people brought up was the scaffolding on Fordham Street. We are going to, obviously we're going to try to address that. From what I went by it earlier. From what I saw, they already stopped work orders on the property. So it seems like DOB, Department of Buildings, already went out there, and that it might just be a stalled construction site. Because I know someone brought it up at the January meeting, and then someone brought it up again at the March meeting. So we will try to do more with that. But that is where we are there. And under new business, I only have 2 things. We are going to do a Stop the Bleed training, which teaches you how to do tourniquets. God forbid there's some sort of active shooter situation. So we're going to do this. Our COAD is our community organization involved in active in disasters. So we're going to follow up on that. And then we are still going to do our Narcan training. I don't have a date yet. We're going to need 10 people. It was in the current last month. I think I got like 1 person who signed up through that. But I'm going to put it out there online. I usually find if you put something online with an immediate, interested, apply, you do get a little bit more of a response. And that really kind of concludes what I have. Is there anything that someone wants to talk about or mention that we have not yet done? Yes, miss.
Hi, I'm Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Hi, Denise. I'm curious about the playground. Has there been any initiative towards updating it, the playgrounds? Because
The one in Ambrosini Field.
yes.
A few years ago, when there was the council member did participatory budgeting, we wanted to try to get something there like they have. Are you familiar with the Throgsneck area?
Yes.
So outside of formerly IS 192, they really redid the whole playground there, and it's really beautiful now. And they did things with coloring, and it really made it seem alive. And we did try to bring that out there at the time. The council member said they'd consider it. I don't think it went anywhere, but we could try to see what we could do there. One of our members sits on the board of the PTA, so let me ask her. But sure.
Well, there's the school playground, and then there's the Ambrosini Field playground.
You talking
That
about?
one would be the city, and the other one is affiliated with the school. The school
Yeah, I'm
one,
not talking about the school.
yeah, the school one is.
You're talking about the front one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you're going there on the weekends, I mean, it's pretty basic. It's kind of run down, and they don't even have swings for older kids. I have 2 older kids who can't go into those bucket swings. So it's just, it really needs updating. The school, they're working on the project of that playground.
Yeah. Okay. You signed in, right? So I have your information. I will look into it and I will get back to you. Thank you for that. We have to think about particularly the little
Is there
ones.
any kind of cycle with the playgrounds, like where they update them anytime, or is it just kind of?
It's to the
squeaky
fiefdom
wheel?
of the local political people and when they get the money for that.
Okay.
So, and that particular playground was updated as a result of the Croton water filtration plant 20 years ago. So it seems like it would be time.
Yes.
Anything else that anyone may have? Going once, going twice? Well, thank you, those of you who showed up today. And we will keep the conversation going. If anything pops up that you didn't think of tonight, remember you can always email us, cityislandrising@gmail.com. Remember to sign in if you haven't already. That way we can add you to our mailing list. You can also get the text message that goes out 2 or 3 days beforehand. It's another added reminder. But appreciate you all coming out and building community with us. So thank you and have a nice night.
Thank you.